What's up, folks? Sean, the Average Angler, coming at you with another great video. And we're approaching fall, or into fall now. I'm pretty sure the weather here has made a few changes. Slowly but surely, we're going to get there. That changes the fishing. Sometimes it can change it for the better. Sometimes it can change it for the worse. But we have ways to attack that scenario. Okay, if you're new to the channel and you like this kind of content, hit that subscribe button down there below. Join the Average Angler community. Love to have you here. We're going to go over just a couple of baits here and a technique that I have talked about long before in the past. Doesn't get a whole lot of attention, but I'm going to share it with you here today because it's really such a good one when that bite gets really tough. First is this little hair jig here. It's really not real big, and I'll tell you what this works really well for is when you have fish feeding on smaller shad. You see that's pretty small, and I know it's the right size when my crappie crush it, and this thing just gets crushed by the crappie. And it's really easy to fish. I just throw it out and engage the reel and let it pendulum down, and they attack it. It can also be fished on the bottom. It's actually what it was meant for, was to hop down the bottom like a dying shad. So something to consider when the fishing's really tough, or you're not sure if those are crappie you're looking at or bass. This is a good way to find out, okay? And both will eat it. That's the great thing about it. I haven't lost any, honestly. I bought probably 16 of them last year. Still have them. If I can find a link for that guy, I will put it in. Link will be in the description. All right, now moving on to our other pattern for when the bite gets really tough. This is it here. Now this one happens to be a Zman FattyZ, okay? You can use whatever worm you like. I prefer something that has some buoyancy. Float that tail up, because what we're gonna be doing with this, we really want that tail to float up, okay? Okay, now with this, we are going to be attracting attention. You'll see a weight and a bead, okay? Now this is no ordinary weight. This is a brass weight. So this is what we used to call the brass and glass. And what I really like to do with this method of fishing, I got a 7-foot medium action rod, okay? We want something that has a little shake in the tip, a little whip, if you know what I mean. That's going to help us shake the line so that that will bang around and make some noise on the bottom. Now hear me out here, because this is really a great one for when the bite gets tough. Sorry, I'm trying to find the pack so I can show you guys. So there is the bag. Okay, they come as a set, brass and glass. Link will be in the description. And it's a key thing, because if you use tungsten, you need to use a tungsten bead. Okay, not saying you can't. I've done it. It works. I just like the brass and glass sound. It's kind of what I grew up doing. So it kind of makes sense to me. And it's my confidence rig, okay? All right, what we're gonna do is find us an area where the fish should be. And this is important because this is not a fast cover water technique. This is more of a draw them to you and they will eat it technique. I know this may sound kind of crazy, but look, man, in the fall, the fish tend to be wanderers. They tend to be moving around, and you just want to fish this in high percentage areas. Usually for me, that's something with a hard bottom, rock, just a hard, clean bottom. Places fish like to eat. Fish don't like to necessarily eat off the bottom as much in muck, because when they suck that bait in, they get a bunch of muck. So just something to keep in mind. Now, as far as line goes, 10 to 12 pound test in most cases, okay? You don't need anything too much. Most of the time we're doing this in open water. And then essentially, this is going to be sitting in place for the most part, and I'm going to be shaking this. Well, when I shake this, it should be moving, waving that bait a little bit, just a little tantalizing, but the noise is going to bring the fish over. Noise can be good, noise can be bad. In this case, it's very subtle noise, and it's just caused from that shaking of the rod tip. So typically I hold my rod up, and I just shake it. You just want to see the line shaking. Aaron Martins talked about that all the time. The late great Aaron Martins was here. He would talk about just shaking the slack in your line. Well, that's what we want to do. And this is going to call fish into us. Now, again, it's a little slower method of fishing, so it's not a cover water technique. It's efficient in high percentage places. Points can be another great place to do this, right? Points, drop-offs, the typical stuff. Maybe not the best thing for throwing into a rock pile, because as you shake that, it's going to fall right down into the rock pile. More so hard spots. This could be around docks. Could be around drop-offs. I love drop-offs. You're going to see me tomorrow. I'm going out to the local lake. This is one of the rigs I rigged up because I'm like, hey, dummy, this used to really produce for you when things were tough out here. So why are you not doing it now? And I'm fishing areas that I know the fish are there and they're wandering around. But when you're doing moving baits, sometimes the odds of you running into them can decrease. Maybe you miss paths or something. This is going to be a slower technique where you're going to be calling them in. That thing's just going tick, 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 a lot like a crawdad would. Or I imagine some other forage species down there that could be doing that. It could be bait noise, could be bluegill, could be crawdads, I think is the most likely for the little bit of clicking sound. Again, we're calling them in. Now, all you do is you just keep shaking that slack. And every once in a while, if you want to move it a couple feet, that's fine. We want to keep it in the general area. So you shake that slack, and then what you'll notice will happen, your line will start to go taut, okay? We want to let them go a little taut, lower our rod tip, reel down, and set. We're fishing this on 10 to 12 pound tests, so you don't want to necessarily lay the wood to them, and you don't need to. You want to use a good, sharp hook, okay? You see there, I just got a Gamakatsu worm hook. The point is very easily exposed through that Elastec there. I've got my little barb keeper that I made to keep the Elastec from coming down. And we're just going to shake, let them load, and then do a nice, easy, 3-hour hook set. Call it, okay? From 9 to 12 or something like that while you're reeling into them. Doesn't take a whole lot of tension to penetrate the fish's mouth. Look, this is something they're not rushing up to and reacting to. You are calling them in with this, and then when they decide to eat it, they're convinced it's something to eat, so they're going to typically eat it very good. I don't miss many fish on this. This used to be something I did a whole lot of. I mean, it was so good, and it will catch fish everywhere. You can use just about any type of worm you want. I've got some other ones here. This is a Biz Baits 8-inch worm, I believe. 7.5-inch worm. Another good one, big bulky worm if you need a big bulky one. Now this one, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't float real well, but it could work well because it is power bait max scent. We used to use a lot of robo worms for this, okay? Again, you're gonna go to a little lighter hook with the robo worm. There's a lot of other ones, the X-Zone Deception worm, and of course the Fat Pack Slinky, right? The Slinky Worm, like the trick worm, you just cut the little head of it off there, slide it on up on that hook, and you've got another good buoyant worm that you can shake down there and give it some action. Buoyancy really helps, okay? So I know I'm a Fat Packs guy. That's not just because they offered me something, that's because I believe in the baits. And the Fat Pack Slinky Worm is a great worm to put on the back of that shaking rig because it floats, right? That tail gets up. Remember in the pool? Remember the pool one? That baby gets up there and floats. Now, it's not going to float up like a Z-Man Elastec, but it's going to float up off the bottom, give something for that fish to see to go along with the noise, and pow, they're going to eat it. All right, give this one a try, guys. I'm really telling you, this is a really good one. It's a blast from the past. I know you may have to go on and order some brass and glass. You can find them in just about any tackle shop. They used to be the only thing we got, it was that or lead. So brass was a big thing at one time. If you want to use tungsten, hey, use tungsten, but you got to get the tungsten bead for it to clack against. If you have those old weights that I used to get gambler weights, they had a rattle built into them. Okay, same thing. It all works. We're just trying to create a little bit of draw there to call those fish in and suck up our worm. All right. I'm Sean the Average Angler. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.